I commonly use JPEGs. Notice inside the frame animation extension, it says name extension, and then it's blank, it says single frame. This means if we were doing a rendering, it's only going to put one single frame, or in this case kind of like a snapshot of whatever our project was. If we were doing an animation, we need to set this to name, number, extension. It's the option right below single frame. In doing so, you can see that it kind of gives us a pre-visual of what that file name is going to look like right up here. File name Robot Project 1. Next thing we need to do is, in order for programs like After Effects to compile our separate images when we do our rendering, we need to have frame padding. Reason being is because without frame padding, as you can see, the first file name is going to be Robot Project 1. Well, when it gets to the Robot Project 10 per se, it doesn't read 10, it just reads 1. It's just the way how the some computer programs read their files, so it doesn't see much difference between 1, 13, and any other number that starts with 1. So, which unfortunately, if we tried doing it without it, means that we're not going to have our files in the our file images in the proper order we need it when we compile it. So we need to add zeros, and that's what the frame padding is. So now it'll read 001. So obviously, if we were doing an animation that was going to be 300 frames long, we would need to have just as many frame pads to accommodate how many digits are inside the numbers that we have. Frame range denotes how long the animation is going to be. So just for example, since I mentioned that we could have a 300 frame animation, we would have to set start frame to 1 and frame to 300. Render cameras, excuse me. This option that obviously when we have the default is usually going to be on perspective, but since we usually would make a separate camera for our scene, as you can see, camera 1 is available since you saw me make that earlier. Whichever camera you pick will be the one that it renders from. Image size. There's many different options that we have. Usually if we're going to do DVD or TV format, we will want to use the Quantel NTSC option. Of course, we can, as you can see, Maya is also capable of doing even HD formats. By selecting that, it gives us our resolution and perspectives, or our resolution and picture sizes. Render options. Accidentally adjusted that. Render options. By default, Maya usually enables default lighting. I will go into what that means later, but typically, since we will be setting up our own lighting sources, we would like to turn this option off. Quality. Inside the Quality tab, you notice that it will say Quality Preset Draft. This is the usual setting for it, which is fine and perfect when we're actually doing our test renders, per se, if we were doing our texturing portion of our project. This is fine for that workflow, but if we were going to be doing a final production setting render, we would actually need to make this better quality, which the quality that we would be looking for in that case would be production. I will go over briefly on this since some of our projects are using image-based lighting. This can be found inside the Indirect Lighting tab, which we would be enable it by hitting Create under Image-Based Lighting. Final Gather is something that I will cover inside another lighting tutorial later, but it's a commonly used function under Mental Ray that is nice. It is not necessary, I don't feel, when we're using our, when doing a normal workflow, especially trying to do a render of something, just a test. Though we will be probably turning this on later. It uses up a lot of resources and extends our render time considerably. So we will, thus it's not usually a good idea to have it turned on when just doing normal test renders. But keep this in mind where this is found. Okay, as always, if you have any other questions, please feel free to email me, and I will be making more tutorials in the future. Thank you.